Hi everyone. Welcome to the second session of Field Service Lighting. Anupam Tripathi once again, and I would like to take you through the next step of the Field Service Lighting product of Salesforce. So before moving to the next session, just recap what we did in the first session. So in the first session, we talked about the prerequisites. We understood one of the use case where there's a company, Amazing Cooling Inc., who is facing some of the field service challenges. So prerequisites mean in terms of what you require, what knowledge you require to learn this new field service lighting. The use case scenario where this company, Amazing Cooling Inc., is facing some challenges in the field service management, managing the resources and assigning work to their field technicians. So with respect to that, we understood the Service Cloud life cycle, how the life cycle of Service Cloud starts from the customer by logging the cases to different channels, and then those cases are routed to the agents who work on them, escalate them, and then close that and resolve the customer issues. Similarly, we understood what was field service lightning. It's a field service solution which gives you a real-time collaboration. It gives you a mobile support and specifically supports the industries like utilities and transportations, vending services, retails, professional services, manufacturing, etc. Then we understood the field service cloud life cycle, where from the life cycle it starts with the customer where they raise their complaints, and it's been again picked by the service cloud agents, which they where the agents feel like they need a field service needs to be done. They create a work order and then they assign that work order, so dispatch that work order to the technicians visit the site and then they fix the problem and then they close the work order and the case. So that's how the field service life cycle extends the service cloud. We understood the considerations in which scenarios we should use field service lighting. So it was nearly when you want to manage the you service reports, you want to generate timesheets, you want to allow your uh, field service agents to use mobile devices. So these considerations you can use field service. Lastly, we talked about the roles. So we have admin roles, agents roles, resources, dispatchers, self-service, and community dispatchers. So this was the first session. In today's session, we'll basically go through these areas. We'll understand the components of field service lighting. What are the main components? What is the architecture, the overall architecture on which the field service lighting product is built on? What are the different field permission set licenses, the permission sets that are there with respect to field service? What is the starting point from where you can start learning field service? What are the prerequisites that needs to be done? And we'll create an org. We'll know how to create an org, and we'll also enable some permission sets, and we'll explore the field service application briefly today. So moving to the components or understanding about the components of field service lighting, there are mainly three components. Uh, First is that comes out of box through the Salesforce platform, where it gives you all the standard objects and application functionality. The standard objects may include contracts, it may include products, it may include assets, entitlements, cases, work order, and all these things. So work orders, like you can see below, work orders, products and assets. Service contracts and entitlements, service appointments. Service appointments are the thing which is being aligned to assigned to the technician, which tells them when they need to start the work, and when they need to end the work. It also associates the SLA or the entitlements with it. And work orders are basically the works that are being assigned for the field technician. So these all objects are available out of the box, and you don't need any field service lightning feature to access it. If you have a service cloud licenses, you can most probably go and access it. The second part is the important part, where it gives it's a managed package feature which comes with respect to field service lightning. So if you want to use field service lighting in an advanced or extended way, this is the required managed package that you need to install. And this managed package gives you extra features. Plus, it gives you the permission set licenses that we'll talk in the next slides. So if you install this managed package, you get scheduling and optimization. Scheduling is the important feature, because if you want to assign a work order to your field technician, you need to schedule it to one of the technician or field resource, right? And there are several rules, basically. So once we go through the advanced field service lighting, you will come to know that there are some specific policies, scheduling policies, or you can say it rules, which is a combination of service objective and work rules. So it gives you some of where you can define some of the rules, and you can schedule the work orders in an optimal way to your technicians. So scheduling is one part, and optimization is like if there is an overlap or there is a emergency scheduling that needs to be done, how the optimization should happen, and how the work order should be assigned to the technician. So this all comes as part of the managed package. You get access to dispatch console. So dispatch console is a place from where the dispatcher, I believe you remember there is a dispatcher who is owning to dispatch or schedule the work or assign the work to the field technicians. So those dispatchers work on the dispatch console, and this dispatch console usually has uh, uh, a quick way, a console kind of thing, where they see all their service appointments that needs to be assigned, and they see all their service territories and resources, and based on that they can schedule and assign or dispatch those work orders efficiently in an optimal way to all the uh, service resources or technicians. You get all the access for field service admin applications and all the settings that are required to set up the field service. You get all the scheduling actions, all the actions that are required for scheduling. You get sharing tools and web pages, the pages that come as part of the field service lightning. And you get all the other custom object models like scheduling policies I was talking about. So there are many other custom objects that you get through this package. Last one is the mobile piece, where if you want to enable the mobile features, mobile device to your field technician, then this is the area that you want to enable. So it gives you a field service mobile application. It's a different application than the Salesforce One application that we usually use for Lightning, and Salesforce has built a different application for field service lighting. So this mobile app is available for both iOS and Android, and in the same way you can also use as a Salesforce app. Moving to the next slide. So this is the high level architecture. So as you have understood, field service lighting contains three components. One is the standard components, one is from the managed pack, and the one is from the mobile. So all these together combine and give you a field service lightning application. But on the at the high level, they are also integrated with the Click. So Click is nothing but it's an optimization tool which takes a request for the optimization for the work orders or the service appointment that the dispatcher wants to allocate or assign to his technician, and returns the result. Based on that, the scheduling and optimization on the scheduling happens. So it's a third party application. Similarly, the field service lighting also uses Google Maps extensively. Why Google Maps? Because the technicians work on the fields or at the on-site, and they have to visit the customer location. And Google Map is the important piece because with this Google Map, they can get the direction. They can get both the aerial and satellite view or direction from the Google Map that is integrated with Field Service Lightning. And this Google Map is also used by the dispatchers to to basically see the exact location of their field service technicians. They can also draw a map or a region on the map, and then they can schedule or optimize the assignment of the work orders or service appointment to the field technician. So this Google Map is integrated with Field Service Lightning, and they use Google APIs to get that information and display it in the Salesforce. So now, as we have understood the components and the architecture, there are some permission set licenses that are associated to field service. So if you install the managed package, you get all these permission set licenses. So you may ask the question like how this permission set license is different than permission set. So you can imagine like you have a license, and you want an extra feature. Maybe you want a feature for suppose you have a feature for live agent, right? So in that live agent, you don't go and buy a new license for live agent, but that is an extra feature that you want on top of your service cloud license that you have bought early on. So in that case, Salesforce gives you an access where you can buy a feature licenses for those live agents. The permission set license also works like a feature license, which gives you a new feature or added feature on top of the current licenses that you have. So it means like you can still use your Service Cloud or licenses to implement field service, but to use the advanced features of field service lighting, you need these extra features through permission set licenses. So, so this is what permission set gives you. So these are some of the permissions where if you want to access field service objects, you need field service standard permission on the user profile. To assign a permission set license, you need manage user permissions, and to create a permission set, you need manage profile and permission sets. So for dispatchers, we have a permission set called field service dispatcher available for the technicians who work in the fields, and they want to they want that it should be shown on the they want their users to be shown on the dispatch console. Gantt is just the dispatch console that we are talking about, and included in the scheduling and optimization. Then the organizations require field service scheduling permission set license, and if you want to enable mobile app for your field technicians, you need field service mobile permission sets. So apart from these permission sets, there is also permission sets that are available for each of the roles that we discussed in the first session. So if you talk about the administrators has both FSL admin license and admin permissions. So FSL admin gives you the basic access to the objects, and FSL admin permissions gives you the additional access to configure the other users. Similarly, you have permission set for agents. It works in the same way, like agent license and agents permissions. You have resources for technicians, field technicians. You have FSL mobile license or FSL scheduling license. If they want to use mobile, then you have to give this mobile permission set. If they want to use scheduling, they want that the resources should be shown on the Gantt or the dispatch console. Then you have to use scheduling licenses. And if you want that the resources should be able to update the service appointment or the work order that has been assigned to them, then you need a resource permission set. Similarly, you have a dispatcher license and dispatcher permissions. It works in the same way where the dispatcher licenses give them access to the dispatch console, and the dispatcher permission gives you extra permission to schedule or dispatch the work orders or change the settings or change the different settings that are available on the dispatch console. So you can consider a scenario where someone needs to only view the dispatch console. They don't want to do any assignments, right? So in that case, you can give a field service license, and you can avoid giving field service dispatcher permission. Similarly, if you are using customer community self-service and you are using you are creating work orders from there, then to access that you need license, and to create or do certain configurations you need field service permissions. And if your partner is doing your contractor is doing working as a dispatcher, then you can use similarly the community dispatcher license and community dispatcher permissions. So starting point, if you want to start learning field service lightning, the first step is to start with the trail mix. So there is a Raja Kond Reddy is a Salesforce user. So if you want to start learning, so I think you should start from here, where there is a 3 weeks course, and this 3 weeks course starts with joining the field service office hours. So there is also a bi-weekly sessions that is being held by Salesforce. So and you can join these bi-weekly sessions and can get access to new features of field service lightning. Similarly, you can also join the enablement plan. So there is a GCT Service Cloud Partner Enablement chapter group, which you can join, and you can see all the latest updates related to field service lightning, and you'll get all the material and previous session slides, which happened through this FSL office hour session. Thirdly, you can register for a training org. So for training org, there are two ways to register. So one way is like if you are doing a Trailhead and you have a Trailhead account, so you can create a playground there, a developer playground, and then there is a managed package available, which I'll tell you shortly, which you can install in your Trailhead dev org, and then you can play with it. The only limitation is that it has a limited users. I think you only get 2 Salesforce users and other limited feature set permission set licenses. But if you want to see a wide range of, or maybe you want to play with the maximum users, maybe more than 2 users or up to 30 users, there's also a link here that is provided to register and get the access for the training org. So one second. So there is a request training link for org. So once you click on this link, there is a request form that comes in. So there is a prerequisite that first is that you should be admin and service cloud certified, and you have already completed the first week of this trail mix, and this comes as a 90 days of expiry date. And lastly, I think you should have a you should have a corporate email ID. So if you don't have a corporate email ID, you will not be able to create this kind of developer org, enterprise developer org with more than 2 users. So once you register it or you give your web accessor ID, I think in couple of days you get a new account enabled, and then you can use that to play around the field service lighting. So I will post all these links in my the video description of the video from where you can get all these things. So we have done the registration, and then there's an install manage package, right? So if once you have created the org, you have, as I told you, that you have to use the manage package to use the advanced features of field service lightning. So once you do this, I believe you must be aware of how to install the managed package, but not I can I'll, if not, then I will also tell you how to do that. So here, let it open. I think, yeah. So I've already created. So I've already registered and created a training org for my field service lightning, and one second, let me see why it's not opening. Oh, it's not responding. So it's not responding. Till the time it's not responding, we'll check. We'll see the other things. So let it open. So once you this link opens, it gives you two link for the managed package, one for the production and one for the sandbox. So so as we have uh, as we have created the sandbox for DevOrg, in that case, it's a production org, because you every time log in with the login.salesforce.com. So in that case, you can oh, there's some problem with the Salesforce, so we'll wait for that. So you get two links. One is for the production and one is for sandbox. So you just have to pick that link, put it in the browser, and then enter the credentials of your training org. And once you do that, it will ask for which users you want to do, for admins or for selected profiles or for all profiles. So you can select admin, and then you can click on the install button. So once you do that, it will install that package for you. And once that package is installed, you can so what I'll do, I'll just open it from edit link, copy link, because it's not opening here, so I will open it from here. I think there's some problem with Salesforce today. So it's not opening up, but anyhow, we can continue next time. But this is one thing I just wanted to show you, or show you something in the field service lighting, how it happens. But I think there is some issue with the Salesforce orgs, and that's why it's taking some time. Or maybe we can wait for some time and see if it's open or not, because this link is also not opening, and this is also not opening. So there is some, I think, maintenance issue, that maintenance thing that is going on this Salesforce side. So till the time, I think you can also go and do this thing, and you can get an org, or you can play around. You can see what all objects are there, what all features that you have got, whether you have got all those permission sets or not. And based on that, you can keep it ready. And I think in the next what I can do in the next session where I can, it's not opening here. So sorry for that. So in the next session, what I can do, I can walk you through the orgs. I can show you how the package was installed, and based on that, I can show you the different applications that get enabled when you install that package. What are the where you what are the settings that are available, or maybe where you can navigate to see the field service settings, how the dispatcher console looks in the start, and then we'll also walk through the different prerequisites or pre-settings or pre-configurations that is required to start building or start implementing field service lighting, because you simply cannot jump and jump straight away and start implementing your requirement, because there are some prerequisites where you need to set up some page layouts, where you need to assign some permission sets, you need to create some users, you need to also set up some sharing rules, so that are required, and we'll do all those things, do it straight away in the org instead of I think it's opened up. So let me go through. This is the install link, and as I said, there are two links, one for production and one for sandbox. So if you click on this summer 20 package in production, because we have logged in for production, so it will give you a link, and from there you can enter your credentials and install it in the so what I have done, I have already installed this install package. So if I go to my install package, I can see that this field service lighting package is already installed. I think Salesforce is not working as expected today. So I think let's keep it for the next time. And I think we'll do this next time. So I think from here, maybe we can conclude this session, and we can we can just do a recap what we have learned in this second session, where we understood the architecture and components. The main components, we understood the permission set licenses and the permission sets, and we also started looking the and exploring the field service. But I think due to the disruption in Salesforce, we were not able to do that. But definitely, we'll do it in the next session. So talking about we understood in this first session we did and understood the field service, and in the second we understood the components and the permission set licenses. In the third session we'll talk in detail about the pre-configurations, and we'll do all those pre-configurations in the box, so that you are well aware how to do that, and then we'll take it ahead. Thank you for joining today's session. If you really like this session, you can join our YouTube channel for the same set of sessions that we'll do in future. You can join or subscribe our channel startupforce.com for more such amazing videos. And if you have some technical questions, there's also a Telegram group with the same name. You can join that and you can post your questions, and we'll be very eager to help you and reply to that. Thank you very much and have a good day.